2 years is rental. Policies, in fact, in the sense of hiring somebody to do that.
Right.
We never consider that either. I think there's multiple opportunities from an educational standpoint.
Want to
Yep.
hurt their feelings or.
No, absolutely. So there has to be some coordination of
their
this.
Right.
And an understanding on, if this is something we want to see happen, that that our parents know that it's something that we're supporting, and our administration doing, their best to support that and help that get implemented. So there's some coordination, I think, that, well, especially at South, where we have multiple clubs. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. So, not trying to offer commentary on that, but anyhow, that does create a situation where there needs to be some coordination that happens, and I'm sure that there is a good amount going on right now. But I think policy change, some adjustment to policy, adjustment to administrative regulation if necessary, and then we see where it goes.
And a lot of times, if just throw this in there too, is if individuals want to make a donation to some of these causes, they go through the foundation, and their corporate entity that they work for match some of those funds.
Yeah.
Many times. So, they may not be able to do it directly to a public institution. They would have to go through the foundation in order to do that.
So it sounds like, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
lot more complicated sometimes than just. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. So it sounds like everybody, did you have anything you wanted to add, Deborah?
No. I'm quite interested in pursuing it and
So-
looking at it.
So everyone's in,
First way to go, because you can't have a committee decide anything based on a
Right.
policy that they
It
can't
doesn't
Right.
exist.
abide by.
That's true.
And I think if we're going to have a committee, it should have, obviously, the booster clubs. And when you mentioned that, Terry, I thought it was a good point, because I think if we don't have one central person, like a rental facility person, I almost envision the booster clubs working in tandem with the school district in seeking those opportunities. Because now what you've done is lifted the restrictions for them to kind of go seek these types of funds or investigate it on their own, whether it applies to just one specific program, hopefully the entire scope of all our athletic programs. I think that would be ideal. But I think the policy aspect probably would want to come first, and then this committee, and the committee would have to be, I think, diverse within our schools, whether it's activities, music,
Yeah.
athletics, academic, as well as booster
Other
clubs
clubs.
and other community organizations, I think would probably be the route.
And the foundation definitely have a seat at that table, because they're the perfect conduit for
Yes.
some of these corporate sponsorships that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
They might have those connections already, too.
Yeah.
Or at least a phone number to call.
Yeah.
we have a gentleman, Mr. Funk, did you speak?
One more comment, my last comment. First, for each test drive, we raised and then each one that came said I want to be with the speech team, I want to be baseball. So whoever that $20 went to that team. So, and it was coordinated very well. I mean, it was pretty smooth, pretty easy, and we made like about $1,600. The basketball boosters. Speech made a lot more money. I don't know why, but they had something going on. Basketball was over.
Got the word out.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But basketball was over already. So But anyway, look at it. We just had people show up, sign. And Dodge gave us that money, and it was clean. And we gave the money to the district, and Randy managed the money for us, and then he gave us the money back, and we spent it on uniforms, as a matter of fact. So I mean, it worked out very well. It was smooth, it was clean. I like your idea about having committee, though. I think you definitely need to have something like that to foster, everyone on the same page, so.
Exactly.
But we shared the money equally, and we figured out a way to make it work, so. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's a good point, because I don't think there's any set way to approach it. I think there's just so many different avenues that we can go, because it's going to be unique, and it's going to be tailored to what our values are in the district.
Yes, but I don't want them to go hog wild.
Right.
I mean, that's the scary part, so.
Yeah, that's why we'd want some definite.
well,
policy
defining what
guidelines.
hog wild is, right? I mean, that's.
Get the policy.
I mean, we mentioned the advertising across,
Yeah, around a field, yeah.
Obviously, in that community, it's not an issue. I
Seem
don't
to like
know.
it.
I don't know if it's an issue here or not.
I don't
mean,
know either. I know
know.
it's my own bias. That's
Right.
just me. That's
So
right.
kind of figuring out, where those things are at, I think is a task at hand as well.
Well, I'm sure the policy committee would look at other policies and what other, best practices.
Sounds like she's trying to make work for us.
I would
Yes, that's
actually suggest
Yeah.
that I like your idea about having an administrator.
As far as what we can do with our advertising, I think that part is pretty explicit. I don't know that you want to put too many other restrictions, because I don't know where this is going to go. General restrictions against, these types of companies or this form of that, because we have that now.
Well, I think the other thing you have to think about, so, I'm sorry, Mike, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that I think that looking at the ISB recommendation is a good thing as we look at so many other things, and adopting that verbiage makes some sense to me. And then when we start talking about some of that Coke or not Coke or whatever, those things are maybe handled a little bit more at the administrative level in terms of procedures, and that's when some of the nitty gritty gets worked out. So,
Because my fear is if you get an administrative committee, they're going to be maybe bogged down just in signage, or they might be bogged down in this aspect, and there might be some things that we didn't even think of that we're losing ourselves, like we're short-sighting ourselves on, and that's, I don't want to waste their time, and I'd rather just kind of move forward with some things and take it as it comes.
I will say that in my experience, when seeking corporate funding for research and educational programs, we have
Has an eye over it, but then field trips come before us, textbook adoption comes before us, all these things get approved. I think that chain of command.
giving them some work. Would you like to have the opportunity to get a little more feedback about potentially what this all could involve before you go forward to try to construct some sort of policy for our review, or do you feel you've got a good enough handle on it to go?
actually, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I think ISB has put together some good language, and this is what most boards are adopting, and we pay money, for this advice. So to me, this seems like a good place, a good